Hello there everyone. Today we are going to do the story The Third Level, which is written by Jack Finney. The Third Level is a psychological thriller. It's a story about a young man named Charlie, who one day accidentally goes into the third level of the Grand Central Station. Grand Central is a railway station in New York, and as far as Charlie knew, Grand Central had just two levels, level 1 and level 2. But that particular day, Charlie entered the third level. He talked about it to his friend, who told him that there's no third level. If you reach the third level, it's probably because you're looking for happiness. You're unhappy, and that's why you're looking for happiness, and that made you look for the third level. What really did happen? How would Charlie have reached the third level? Perhaps Charlie was preoccupied. He was coming home from work. After a hard and long day's work, it's possible that Charlie felt a little tired. He must have been thinking about home. How quickly can I reach home? And in that, he might have lost track of where he was going. And he reached a new place, the third level. Now, how would Charlie have recognized that he had reached a third level? Mind it, Charlie used the Grand Central every day. Level 1 and level 2 he was familiar with. So that particular day, if he reached a new place, he found it unfamiliar. He looked around. It looked different. The first thing was that it was a very dimly lit room. There were fewer ticketing windows. And when he peered through the dim light, he saw that the lights were actually flame lights, gas lights, not electric lights. People all around were dressed in an old-fashioned way. They were carrying old-fashioned accessories like pocket watches. The hats also looked different. In fact, right behind the platform, Charlie could also see an old-fashioned locomotive engine. So, he saw all those old-fashioned things and felt that he was transported back in time. In fact, a man was even reading a newspaper dated back to 11 June 1894. Oh my God, that was at least 50 to 60 years earlier. What do you think Charlie did? He had gone back in time. It was like he had entered the time machine, and someone had taken him back by 50 to 60 years. What did he do? He was immediately reminded of his childhood. The childhood that he had spent in a small sleepy town called Galesburg. Galesburg, which was in one of the states of the United States of America called Illinois. And he immediately had his desire to go to Galesburg. He went to the ticketing window and asked the clerk for 2 tickets to Galesburg and offered the ticketing clerk money. The clerk looked at him very suspiciously. Oh no, no, that's not the money that I'm going to accept. Why? Because if Charlie is back in 1896, then currency notes that are in vogue in the 1950s and 60s would not be accepted in the 1890s. Nobody would even know about them. Now, Charlie came and shared all this with his psychiatrist friend. His psychiatrist friend clearly pointed out, you are unhappy and you are looking for an escape. Your brain conjured up the third level for you to go and escape from this life. In fact, the psychiatrist even concluded, look at your hobby, stamp collecting, philately. That is also a way of escaping your current life. But Charlie was not prepared to accept the psychiatrist's conclusion. He said, no, I am merely continuing my grandfather's stamp collection. I'm not an escapist. And why do you talk about me? Look at President Roosevelt. He's also a philatelist. He collects stamps. Do you think President Roosevelt needs to escape from something? He has everything he would ever want in his life. After that, Charlie went to Grand Central several times. He thought perhaps he could find the third level once again. And yes, this time he was even carrying old-fashioned currency with himself. He had gone to the bank and had exchanged some of the new currency with old-fashioned currency which came at a higher price. But no problem. Charlie was prepared to spend something extra to have that old-fashioned currency with himself. But now, even though he was carrying that old-fashioned currency, he couldn't find the third level. And then one day, he received a letter from Sam. Sam, a friend of his. And Sam had written to him from Galsburg. Sam had emptied his bank account, exchanged all modern currency with old currency, bought a ticket, gone to Galsburg, and with the remaining money, he had set up a hay and fodder business there. He was enjoying life there. The pace of life at Galsburg was slow, and Sam was having a nice time. People had time to meet each other, and sometimes people just did nothing and were happy about it. Sam was also happy. Hey, who was this Sam? Sam was none other than Charlie's psychiatrist friend. It was with Sam that Charlie had shared his vision of the third level. And Sam was a psychiatrist who had immediately recognized Charlie's desire to escape. In fact, Sam was also part of the modern life that milled and grilled in New York. He knew, as a psychiatrist, he must have had several people coming to him with their problems. And listening to those problems, he himself might have been sick of what he had been facing in New York. So he did the next best thing. He looked for his own third level. The fact that Sam was able to find his third level and from there was able to buy his ticket to Galsburg means that Sam's desire to escape was even stronger than Charlie's desire to escape. Sam wrote to Charlie and his wife, "Keep looking for your third level. It's really worth it." So friends, the conclusion that we can draw from this, the message that Jack Finney wants to give us is that we get so busy in life that we cease to live it. We merely exist. And at that point in time, we are not even aware that we are unhappy. When something comes up that makes us realize that we are unhappy, then we look for our third level. We always have the option of looking for a third level. We should look for all the things that make us happy, whether it's traveling, playing, getting together with friends, or sometimes simply doing nothing. Yes, what's the harm? The point is that we should be happy. Thank you.